So there is a slight chance that because the Pixel Fold is new, that I've leaned slightly towards the favour of this compared to the Z Fold 4. The only way I could imagine or think about rectifying this was to buy the Z Fold 4 again. So what I want to do is I want to make an in-depth 3-part series, if you like, talking about the differences between the two, from first impressions, build quality, hardware, software, cameras, pros and cons, and all that good stuff. So let's start part 1 and talk about the unboxing and first impressions experience I got from both. Let's go. Now, when it comes to unboxing experience, the feeling I got was disappointment, misery, neglect, a few other adjectives I'm sure that I could think about. The unboxing experience, I guess, is good for both in that they're the same. You get a box, a cable, and the phone. That's it. No niceties, no case, no charger, no welcome note. I don't know, when you're spending £1,800 or £1,700 on a phone, you kind of want, I don't know, to feel special. However, once you're past the disappointment and misery of the unboxing experience, you are, no matter which phone you hold, holding a premium flagship foldable device. The Z Fold 4, while thin on the outside, is big on the inside and looks stunning. Originally I got the Z Fold 4 when it first came out in the green colour, but I've always looked at this sort of beige with the gold accents and thought, that looks nice. Then the Pixel Fold came out, and for some unbeknownst reason to me, I bought the obsidian version, and I am desperate for the porcelain version. So if you have the porcelain version and you want to swap, let me know. I'll give you £100 on top as well. Just swap with me, someone. Now, as far as the Pixel Fold, first impressions on this larger outside screen, same size inside screen. Design-wise on the back, it's objective. Like, I mean, this is more minimal, absolutely. But this looks pretty cool. The recognisable Pixel camera bar has really grown on me from when it first came out. So, again, this isn't about scoring points or round for round. This is purely just my first impressions of both. So far, you'll not be disappointed with either phone. When you start to use the phone, however, this is where the bigger issues come. The outside screen on the Samsung is 6.2 inch diagonal. The outside screen on the Pixel Fold is 5.8 inch diagonal. So you would think, well, surely the Z Fold's better. No. The way the diagonal form factor works, or the inches work, on the Pixel Fold is different because it's 3.1 inch wide. The Z Fold is 2.3 inch wide, something around there, maybe 2.6. Considerably thinner than the Pixel Fold. So in day-to-day life, you pretty much always have to, let me just pop this one down before I drop it. So in daily life, you pretty much always have to unfold the device, because using the outer screen for replying to emails, responding to any form of messages, is quite troublesome because that keyboard is way too thin. Even if you've got the thinnest fingers in the world, you're going to find it difficult. And the aspect ratio echoes an Xperia phone. Too tall and narrow, in my opinion. On the flip side, using the outer screen on the Pixel Fold, it's like using an outer screen on any wide candy bar phone, like the S23 Ultra, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, or the Google Pixel 7 Pro. 3.1 inches wide just means you can use two fingers happily. Gboard looks how it's meant to look, unlike on the Z Fold, Gboard just looks squished. So first impressions of the outside screen, definitely go towards Pixel Fold. and I can't see any argument as to why anybody would want a tall and thin form factor compared to the Pixel Fold. But put in the comments, I'm sure you will. You already have, no doubt, and I've responded and we've debated. But tell me again, why would you prefer this outside screen to the Pixel Fold? Now, when you do open the device, which you have to do more in the Z Fold, but when you do open both devices, they're the same, 7.6 inches, while the Z Fold is a square design and the Pixel Fold is more rectangular. They offer the same kind of look and feel. The one thing I would say is obviously the Z Fold has way thinner bezels. That's a plus point. But the bezels in the Pixel Fold disappear, just like the notch on your iPhone. It just kind of blends in, or the dynamic island that they're using nowadays and don't seem to update any form of software on it. Anyway, the bezels are thinner, but the thicker bezels in the Pixel Fold just blend in, and they do house an 8 megapixel camera that isn't obstructed by the display. Now, while the display on the Z Fold 4 is uninterrupted, there is no way anybody can argue that the inside camera on the Pixel Fold isn't better than the Z Fold. The Z Fold 4 looks like a 1 megapixel lens that has been coated in Tipex. Bit harsh, but almost true. Now, as far as functionality and everyday use of the inside screen, as mentioned, they're very similar. You can turn the Pixel Fold portrait to get a taller aspect ratio. There's a lot you can do, including multitasking. While multitasking is fantastic on both devices, I would actually have to argue that the Z Fold 4 is a far better multitasker. Now, whether this is because Android 14 is coming out and the Pixel Fold's new and it's needing updates, the apps on the Pixel Fold are 70% optimized. Maybe that's generous, 50% optimized. I struggle to find any apps on the Z Fold 4 that are not optimized for the inner screen use. And that matters. That really does. Now, the fact that Google worked closely with Samsung on the software of this, I can only imagine the Pixel Fold will be updated. But as we sit here right now, I do prefer the multitasking experience on the Z Fold 4. Now, part 2 of this mini-series is going to be on cameras, really in depth. So I don't want to go too much into this. All I will say is both Fold phones have a triple camera array. The telephoto 3x zoom lens on the Z Fold is fine, but it's not as good as the 5x periscope zoom lens on the Pixel Fold. But again, we'll get into that in my next video, so stay tuned. And if you've got any questions about the cameras, nighttime photography, anything at all, pop them down below in this video and I'll answer them in my next video. So another big talking point when it comes to foldable phones is the internals, the SoC, the chip. Yes, the Pixel Fold only has the Tensor G2 chip. And while I agree, the Tensor G2 chip cannot stand toe-to-toe with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, never mind 8 Gen 2, for me and nearly 100% of the user base, it's going to handle day-to-day tasks, some heavy use tasks, absolutely fine. The one drawback you will find is if you're a hardcore gamer and you like to play Genshin Impact or other game titles that I have no idea about because I'm old, at full frames per second, at their full quality settings, the Tensor G2 will first get warm, the phone will melt your hands, and then it'll just crash. So yeah, the G2 chip is absolutely not as good as the Snapdragon chip, but 99% of the time, you're never going to notice. And the final thing I want to talk about in my first impressions video is just battery life. Having used the Z Fold for about a month the first time I bought it, I know the battery life on this is fantastic. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip is fantastic. It is paired with Android software. You're going to get a day and a half, 2 days out of this at medium usage. To give you an idea of screen on time, you're going to get 6 hours screen on time. On the Pixel Fold, you're going to get 5 hours screen on time. Yes, not as good as the Z Fold 4, but I would argue that both phones will need charged at the end of a normal day's usage. So really, they kind of counteract each other. Battery anxiety, though, I know is a thing. So if you are worried about battery anxiety, then I'd definitely go for the Z Fold 4. It's got better battery performance and faster charging at 45 watts compared to the 30 watts that Google claim, even though a lot of people are only getting 21 watts. So that's been it for my first impressions. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe because I've got part 2 coming tomorrow on the cameras, and then the following day, part 3 is my overall summary, pros, cons, benefits, and which I would buy and keep. No spoilers, but if you have watched any of my previous videos, you might have an idea. The one thing I will say is, I definitely have been harsh to Samsung over the past 8 Pixel Fold videos. I know I have. So I've bought this to even it out, to take away that recency bias. And I'm glad I did, because this is still an absolutely outstanding premium foldable device. So much so that you can pick it up for £999. Well, you could in a Prime Day deal. I think it's like £1,200 now. And at some point I will be selling this pristine beige 256GB Z Fold 4. Not now though. If you're in the market for a foldable device, there is, don't forget, £750 difference between these devices. There is not £750 difference in reality though, as far as usage. So if you're looking for a foldable device and you're on a bit more of a budget, the Z Fold 4 is the way to go. If you're looking to wait and hold out for the Z Fold 5, don't. Do me a favour, YouTube Z Fold 5 specs, and you will literally think you're looking at the specs of the Z Fold 4. Samsung have sadly continued their tradition of being lazy, not respecting the customer, and resting on their laurels. The Z Fold 5 is essentially the Z Fold 4 with the 8 Gen 2 chip. Super disappointing, but hey, Samsung never failed to surprise me. So, until part 2,